This is Brett Moomey with Skipper Buds and Marine Max Yacht Sales. I'm going to take you on a tour of this 2025 Tiara Yachts 48 LE. This boat was just delivered in June, July of 2024. It has a balance of a couple years of warranty left on it, and it was custom ordered by the current owner with some cool little features that I'll show you on the way in. First, we have a fog gray custom painted hull, the crystal white boot stripe that matches that gel coat perfectly. You'll see up on the bow a auto retracting anchor support along with the bow spotlight and flag holder, pop-up cleats throughout the whole boat, massive hull windows for the master forward in this boat, as well as the mid berth that we'll see on the inside. There is opening portholes with screens for each of those options as well. This boat does not have bottom paint. It has been lift kept since day one. All here again in fresh water. There's just under 100 hours, I think 97.6 currently on the engines. These triple Mercury 600 Verados will push this boat to 60 miles an hour. Pretty wild for a big 48-foot cruising boat. We did option big ticket item of all of the flooring throughout the cockpit and swim platform. You can see the optional accented fog gray silver metallic paint on the engines as well. And then back here in the back, you do have a grill as well as quick access for fenders, lines, whatever, with some line storage, or two little flips of these cleats or the locking mechanism, and the whole trunk will open on these hinges, giving large access to the rest of the storage area. You have option one of the ladder here, which is just your quick out ladder, flip out, 3-step stainless. You do have the moving prop alert system, both port and starboard. Again, pop-up cleats, boarding gate with some plexiglass blocks for securing this area. And then this is ladder 2 in this beach platform. So this beach platform will fold completely flush, extending the beam on this thing to something like 16 feet, 16 and a half feet. But this ladder will pull out, it extends 6 feet in the water, and then you've got two, maybe 1.5 foot or 2 foot handles that protrude above the deck. So when you're exiting the water, you're not climbing up trying to grab something topside. You've got two large handles outboard of the ladder itself, so you can walk right through them. Super nice ladder system. This is first custom that was on this boat, which these are matching bar stools or matching pedestals, which those can have covers. They stow away under the table, but it gives a nice leg rest or 2 additional seats back here in the cockpit. Of course, you've got the standard make fast sunshade, single button push, kind of seamless, most functional, easiest use option we have. A big cockpit table here, which kind of cool, but even underneath the table, you have a full piece of solid surface. We use the term Corian. It's actually not Corian brand, same material. There's 2 manufacturers of that system now. This is all done in-house in Tiara. Teak work, cutting the Corian out of slabs, or a solid surface out of slabs. All of their vinyl work, all of the solid teak floor, which I'll get to that. There's a full upgrade of optional teak on the interior of the boat. But all of that system's done in-house. All of their fabric work for coverlets for the beds, the pillows, throw pillows, all that sort of thing. So kind of a cool system, being there at the factory and seeing how from the mill room this boat starts as slabs of woods and then going through the fiberglass portions and how that's all cut. So highly encourage a factory tour there, but we'll get to that later. Over here you're going to have controls. So behind me you can see the TV raising up. You have hardtop light accents controls here, and then you've got 2 pump outs for the port and starboard fish boxes, they're called. This boat doesn't have the adventure package, which seems to not be as favorable in the market as the lounge package that we have here. If you were to have that adventure package, you can add fishing options and use these as fish lockers that are insulated with pump outs for fish scales, whatever. Currently, most of my clients use this for ice storage, additional coolers, and then they've got a pump to grind up ice or whatever else to pump out. And then down underneath what would be the engine room, you've got the lazarette, the mechanical space. Right now with the fenders, tons of storage, easy access to all of your systems down here, nice and labeled, as well as your seakeeper on the forward side of that bulkhead. This step's going to give additional storage with a drain in it. There's storage under both of these seats that are drained as well. And moving inside, first thing we'll see is the disappearing bar window. And then you've got a door, which this glass was a big innovation or big option from Tiara. It's actually a very thin glass, but it's a super high quality auto glass that's super sound deadening. So I can't remember exact specs, but you're somewhere in the 60s for noise decibels at like wide open throttle or cruising speed in here. So your average conversation is somewhere around 70 decibels. So very, very quiet inside underway on this boat. The boat does a phenomenal job with performance top end speed, but also your low end speed. So that becomes super important at cruising in big rough water. So this boat, I've had it like just hit under 19 miles an hour, trimmed down with the engines without using trim tabs, and still perfectly flat on plane. So you start lowering those trim tabs, you can get this boat down into the mid-teens, still staying on plane, which is again pretty amazing with how they do that. They do a wonderful job at Tiara with keeping center of gravity. For instance, the fuel tanks are right under this massive storage locker, move very far forward, right on the center line. So you've got super deep storage where you can fit probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 cases of beer or soda, whatever you're into, or cases of wine down there. Extra water for provisioning long term. This was another custom that the current owner had added to the boat, which is this cover for all of the solid teak floor through the entire boat. So outside of the small step here, you'll see that these covers are in the cabins and as well as the mid berth, which had came standard with carpet. This one was optioned to teak. So it's the boat looks, I mean, just like it did day one. I haven't noticed a single scratch. I haven't noticed any marring on the hulls or rub rail or anything. It's truly a beautiful boat. So moving inside, you have the high-low TV. And then over on the port side here, you have a freezer slash ice maker under the seat. You have this massive surround lounging area, or then underneath this cushion set, there's a fully high finish teak table again. And there's nice dedicated storage for higher table legs down under the master berth, and then dedicated storage for these shorter ones to clip back in. Currently, this owner likes to use it in lounge mode, so if you raise that TV, you're kind of sitting here hanging out and kind of having a nice movie night. And this does a very unique switch where you flip up your headrest, slide the seat back. So now underway, you've got ability to sit a couple, 2 or 3 more people forward facing up at high height. And then this owner did option the additional Garmin screen. So this has full controls of everything like the other ones do at the helm there. But more typically, owners are using this for stereo, light controls, maybe seeing their time of arrival to their destination, whatever it might be. But it has full control there. You also have a glove box hidden, audio controls, which again can be controlled through any of the screens. And then you've got the power management system right here. So you get on board, you go into your DC powers, all batteries on, you go to AC, you're ready to take off, push and hold start on the generator, generator starts, hit the generator selector button, switches from shore, put your shore power away and you're ready to go. This owner did option the forward shore power as well, so you can select which shore power is there, which they did a wonderful job on keeping that anchor locker super neat and tidy in there. So you'll see as we get up to the bow, there's not, the previous Tiaras used to have a big stainless ring cutout with some rubber flaps. That's no longer there. Moving back as I'm flipping you around, but back to the galley here, you have a 2-burner induction stove with a nice little cover. There's additional storage here. Again, that was the TV. This boat does have the optional garbage disposal in there. This sink goes up for normal operation, flips out of the way for when the TV's there. You have drawer storage here, there, 2 cabinets and 2 refrigerators here. And then the microwave has not only microwave, but it also has air fry and convection or broil options in there too. So pretty functional. They did a wonderful job in here. The stereo system's insane, but as you'll see, there's no exposed speakers. So they did a great job of hiding those in various areas, putting the subwoofer under the seat, and hiding the speakers behind the screens there. This is again, a massive storage area. The Helm chair is a Stid brand Helm chair. Has a lot of functions for armrest, flipping out of the way. It is on a forward back control as well. So that will adjust. You do have a nice leg rest here. Optional proportional bow thruster was added to this boat. So it's an integrated bow thruster as opposed to the standard, full on-off bow thruster. That's a fairly expensive upgrade. Obviously, joystick and all of your autopilot systems through there. The screens are super simple. This boat does have a high-end FLIR added to it as well. And it was pre-wired for Starlink at the factory and then a Starlink added after delivery. Then you also have the sunroof. The Webasto, I believe is the brand. So now this current sunroof is on a track system, and then it cinches down nice and tight when closed. So there's a big rubber gasket there that will hold that all the way down. Notable air chillers on this boat. So there's 2 zones of air conditioning here, port and starboard, so you can control the air kind of dependent on if you're in the sun one side versus the other. And that chiller system makes those super quiet, so you don't have compressors in the boat rearing up and getting nice and loud. And both port and starboard windows open massive. So, underway, at rest, whatever, you open up that drop-down power window, open your back door, open your sunroof, and open your side windows, and you're suddenly outside. You're no longer feeling like you're in a more coupe-style glass sliding door boat. Again, all of this is full solid teak. It's not a teak veneer floor. It's solid teak done at Tiara Yachts. Pretty cool process to watch them do that because this teak has a lot of grain variance, a lot of color variance. So when they're going through, it's one of my favorite areas to go through the factory if you happen to catch them doing a floor, because they're pulling strips after strips of teak, trying to find right pieces that kind of match through the floor, so you don't have a tiger stripy pattern through the boat, so it looks all nice. And you'll see a lot of variance. Some will have a little bit of gray in that. That's just a natural teak. It's not dyed or it's not stained. It's just clear coated. Same with all their exterior teaks. Large stairs going down, and first you'll hit the guest head. So another custom, if you call it that, was this teak flooring that we had done by Tiara in the shower, as opposed to just the standard fiberglass floor. Large, over 6 foot head height in that shower, tons of space. Obviously head, storage behind both mirrors, storage behind the head, storage underneath the sink, and nice little storage for your toiletry bags or whatever. Again, full solid teak floor, access down to your bilge area, to your waste tank and water tank there. Again, solid teak, all protected throughout this. And then first you'll see the private owner's suite head. Again, storage behind the mirrors. I think there's 4 drawer storages, 2 mirror storages, and then again, a really nice setup in there with head height on space, teak accents, quartz in the backsplashes, quartz at your kick, plates going in, so very durable. And then underneath the bed, you've got the dedicated storage, large storage behind, little storage compartment for things like your Dyson or boxes, but then you have 2 drawer storages here, as well as a good size hanging locker. And then you have wireless through teak chargers on either side of the bed. You've got a really beautiful back headboard that's all cut in-house at Tiara. And then you also have storage on either side of the bed by those night lights that has some power outlets in there, as well as your AC controls. So last in the cabin area, moving to the mid-berth. Again, you'll see me pointing out the amount of storage because it's massive and it's huge on a boat to have that. Huge drawer storages, Big hanging locker again. 2 drawers underneath these beds, both here. There's a total of 4 drawers under the beds themselves back here, and the beds will lift up as well so you can access those larger. Currently this is in the, kind of twin bed setup, 2 independent beds, but they are on a pneumatic release and they will slide together, which they did a great job. Again, you'll notice that they've got the through teak wireless chargers on either side when it's in, more this full kind of queen size bed configuration. And then they've got one on the inside for when it's back out to the dual. And there is storage in the center there, or when you close, there's storage under the nightstands on both sides. I always note that back here, it's fairly comfortable when you actually lay in the bed because this headspace raises up, which is more of a claustrophobic kind of help. It makes the room and your headspace feel a lot larger, even though it's not functional space that you would use. And then before we go, one more big storage spot, stereo controls, USB-C connections, and a physical outlet in there as well. Before we go too far, I will show the seat here. So this seat is on a power actuated flip. So it'll rotate all the way, if I hit the right button, all the way, and you can stop it at any position and use it. So often you'll see it stopped right about there as that portside beach platform's lowered down, making it kind of view out towards the water, people coming and swimming, opening the access to that space. Or you can spin it all the way aft and have aft facing sunset mode. They did do a great job with the seat height there, so your line of vision is on the water, is actually over those engines. And then now, one of my clients pointed out that he uses this aft facing very little for seating, but when he's cooking, now he's got his grill right here. So he can be in the galley, refrigerator, cocktails, whatever, jumping outside right next to the grill. So more function than just the actual orientation of seat. We showed the TV there that dropped out, so I'll do that once more. Here's your hardtop TV. And then actually, let's go this way, Tyler. Moving up to the bow, you'll see great handrails, handholds coming up. There's full-length handrails on the hardtop. Got your diesel fill for the generator, which is, again, diesel and less problematic than gas and much quieter, much more fuel efficient. Then you have your gas fill both sides, water over here, and waste on the other side for pump out. Top side, you can see this really cool custom in-house built mast stand for that radar arch. You got your FLIR, Glomax, which is not commonly used anymore. Or sorry, I said FLIR, I meant Starlink. FLIR is right up here. It's a really great, comfortable space up in the bow. You've got 2 independent backrests that will flip up to 3 different positions. So you got 1, 2, 3, or close. You've got nice solid surface, call it Corian again. Areas for your cell phone, nice and protected with a lip, nice drains, stereo controls, USB-C plugs and outlets, cup holders, and that's duplicated without the stereo over on the starboard side. And then up in this bow area, you'll see that shore power connection. So they gave you a cutout here instead of having the big cutout and the deck hatch. And now you've got a 50 amp cable, which we keep telling them that they don't need, but nonetheless, you still have cable hookup for that dock. And then obviously your windlass controls and a quick connect freshwater washdown was optioned on this boat as well for washing down your anchor or your anchor locker area. Really, in the time that we had, I think I covered just about everything I can. Again, this boat is pristine, freshwater only, delivered straight from the factory to us here in Grand Haven. currently sitting in Spring Lake. And the boat is, again, 10 out of 10 condition. It's truly beautiful. So give me, Brett Mooney, a call at Skipper Buds here anytime.